So it happened a little bit naturally, the way I combine neuroscience and cognitive science with games, just because of my background, PhD in psychology, and I'm specialized in child development. And in child development, we know that games are very important to learn, and this is also how we learn. And so to me, it was pretty natural to combine cognitive science, child development into video games, because it was at the convergence of everything. One of the common mistakes that people make when they create something, whether it is a game or something else, is to rely too much on their gut feelings and their own perception of things. In cognitive science, we know that perception is very subjective. So what I perceive is not necessarily what you're going to perceive. So it's really important to start with assumptions, with your gut feelings, but then know that you're going to have to test and verify if what people feel from your design and your creations is really what you're intended to convey. And that's one of the main mistakes people do. They think it's going to be okay, or they have the time later that people will get it because it's easy. And it's not that easy for you to communicate between people. Yeah, Fortnite was a difficult one because it's a game with a lot of different systems that are very deep. And so that was a real challenge to make sure this game that is also new, combining action with building, and also making sure we could teach that to players efficiently. So that was a huge challenge. One of the biggest challenge also is to make it work with a small team. You know, and for every game team, you always have like a restricted budget as well. So it was just difficult to figure it all out. But what helped is we had a very good process within the team, and we thought about UX very early as a strategy, not just later on. The knowledge that we have in cognitive science and neuroscience can be very useful to offer the best experience possible to people. But this knowledge can also be used to trick people into buying things. And this is where we leave UX to fall into a dark pattern. The analogy that I use is the difference between a magician. A magician knows the limitation of the brain very well. This is how they do the magic tricks. And a pickpocket. They also know very well the limitation of attention, for example, but not to entertain you, to steal money out. So it's the same thing here. It's really important to understand the limitations of our brain so that we can define ethical rules and guidelines for all of us in game development to use, so that we can create magic for players, and also have guidelines to follow so that we are respectful of people's time and money. What I would say to people who want to start in game development is find what is your message. What do you want to convey? Games are now tools. It's an art form, and we want to elicit emotions in other people. So find what is touching you personally as a designer or an artist, and what is the message you want to convey. A lot of people will want to do the same games that we saw, which is a good practice to do. But ultimately, what's going to make people vibrate is to discover what's in your mind, what makes you tick, what makes you really, what is your passion. And ultimately, this is what's going to make a lot of different games more interesting, because then we have a variety of different games coming from different cultures and talk about different things. I mean, this is what is the power of video games. And I would encourage students to really think about this. Like what is specific to your culture, to your upbringing, to your own passion, and how you can share this passion with them. So you mentioned ethics earlier. This is really something dear to my heart today, because I think video games can be a very powerful medium to share knowledge and to share passion, like I was saying. But because it's powerful, we also have a big responsibility. So understanding this power that we have on people to elicit emotions and to make you feel certain things, so that we can use that power wisely, so that we can make the world a better place for everyone.